A very big hello to all my wonderful champions out there. I hope all my children are doing great. So today we are going to start off a new chapter, and that too with a new twist. You might be asking, what is the twist? So we are going to go to the past, my dear children. And now you might be thinking, what does this chapter have to do with the past? Well, I am going to break that suspense in a minute. But before that, let me tell you, I have put in lots of efforts into making this PPT, making this chapter so interesting for you. So do let me know in the comment section if at all you felt that this session was interesting. I got to know a lot more than what is mentioned in the NCERT, all of it. Okay, so this is how we should process. I motivate you and you motivate me. But how? All through comments. Okay, so my dear children, do not forget to do so, and let's see what happened in 1968. So in 1968, there was a governor and a lot of people around there. He found that the children were popping from here and there. That means the number of children which were there, my dear children, it was increasing very rapidly. And one day the governor thought that if this continues, one thing is for sure, that is, we all will die of hunger, of basically no space, and a lot of things out there. So the governor and his teammates thought that we should be doing something about it. How can we stop the baby production? So they went ahead and thought that now is the correct time to give advertisement through televisions, my dear children. And that's when came the first advertisement of Nirod. And what is Nirod? Nirod is a condom. And you know, the advertisement went like, they showed all the advertisement, whatever it was, and they also mentioned that it was just for 25 paise, such that everyone could buy the condom and use it. And obviously, it would be lowering down the production of what? Children out there. And you know what? It actually worked really well. So it was a success story, okay, being done by the people out there in 1968, where the first time, my dear children, this ad had been run, and it was written that use condom to prevent pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, HIV, AIDS, and all those things. So over here, let's see more about contraceptive. In this particular session, I'm going to discuss in detail about each and everything out there. And apart from that, I'm also going to discuss about this topic, which is very interesting. That is, why is the baby scared of amniocentesis? So these are the two major topics we will be dealing with today. And I do not know how this chapter was taught in your school, but in whatever ways it was taught in your school, it's okay. If it was bad, just forget it. If it was good, please remember it. Please tell the teacher it was good, whoever taught you there. Now over here, I am going to teach you in my way. And I think it is going to help you really well. Okay, and if you think the same, what you have to do? Put down in the comment section. Now, you know what? There's a twist in my story also. So when human reproduction chapter was going on, or when sexual reproduction in sexual reproduction in flowering plants was going on, at that point of time, all of my children, whether it be Prajwal, Viresh, Baby Nayak, Soumya, Puttaraju, Goida, or whoever it was, okay, they were all very consistent. Consistent in what? Putting down the homeworks. And now I see that the consistency is getting lost, and I do not want you to do that. Please be consistent, because in that way only we can reach up here. Okay, so make sure you are solving all the questions out there. And in this session, I have included 3 homework questions all in the mid of the session, such that I get to know whoever is listening to the whole video, or whoever is going to watch the whole video, because those who watch the video will only get the answers. Yes? Okay, now over here, my dear children, this chapter I have divided into 2 theory sessions, because this is a small chapter. First one will be population control and birth control. Population control, I will be discussing about what happened in India, okay, what was the things that were incorporated in India, and then I'll be talking about the birth control or contraceptive methods, such as natural method, barrier method, intrauterine devices, and all of it. For KCET, this chapter still can give you 3 marks. For PU2, it can give you 6 marks, not at all a small deal. With a small chapter, if you're getting this many marks, my dear children, you should make sure that you're gonna grab the marks. And how can you do that? By being consistent. And L3 will be KCET PYQs, L4 will be NEET PYQs. If you want me to merge both of them, do let me know in the comment section below. And if you want the PDF of the chapter, you have to join our WhatsApp channel. Now going ahead with the first thing that we have, that is all about reproductive health care in India. So over here, the interest level might go down, but be consistent, okay? Try to be consistent, because after this, it is going to go up. So over here, there is a question, okay, that I've made. So bro, do you think that we are studying, what we are studying is a big deal? Is what is being asked by Chutti. And then Puttu says that, not sure, but I think we need marks. So is it like that? Are we just studying for marks, especially this chapter? No, okay. This chapter should be studied because you all are in 12th grade. You all are big human beings now, and there are possible mistakes that you could do in your life, and I do not want you to undergo any stress out there, which is why this is going to be very, very important class, because we all are in sexual phase, my dear children. Please understand the importance of this chapter, learn from this chapter. It will be really, really helpful for you, okay? So no shyness, but only what? Respect out there. So you have to be respectful, but let's not be shy about talking about anything over here, because all of it is very, very important. So did India do something big when you talk about reproductive child health care, things and stuff like that? Well, it was the first country to action plans and programs at the national level to attain what? The total reproductive health as a social goal. So it was not done by any other country first. It was India who said that we want to make sure that the reproductive health is of primary importance. We should make it a goal to have what? To have a proper way of dealing with things. So family planning and stuff like that was introduced in the year 1951. So there was a program that was known as family planning, and it was introduced in what year? In which year? It's very, very, very important. It's 1951. And my dear children, later on they thought that this name is not that interesting. We should be probably working on it, and with lots of things adding up there, new rules, new regulations being adding up there, this whole program was evolved into a new thing which was known as Reproductive and Child Health Care Program. And it was for better facilities and a lot of other things which we are going to discuss. So initially family planning was introduced in the year 1951. Later on, within years, my dear children, it was not 1 or 2 years, probably so many years after that. After that, what happened? Almost 40 years, okay, these programs were evolved into something else which is known as Reproductive and Child Health Care, RCH program. Okay, and what is the mission of this program? To provide facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society. So you have to provide facility and also support. But how exactly can you do that? What were those initiatives done by RCH? Now this particular thing is really important. This is the whole term. This is the abbreviated form. RCH, or Reproductive and Child Healthcare. Questions come from this topic also. Now how did they do everything under control? So this is how they did it. The first thing is awareness and education. So awareness through what? Through awareness through social media. So the schools, your teachers teach you. So the parents, okay, again the teachers and the social groups that you're in. That is how you can be aware of things out there. And in school particularly, what happens, my dear children? Sex education is given. I hope in your school also there might be people coming in and saying that this touch is bad, this touch is good, and all those things. So this is a part of what sex education, my dear children, and it is to what? Dispel the myths and misconceptions around things. So information on reproductive organs, the adolescents, okay, and also sexually transmitted diseases. Those diseases when you get, if you involve in sexual activity, those are known as sexually transmitted diseases, such as AIDS, such as gonorrhea, all of this thing. And also safe sexual practices, okay. Now apart from that, there were certain other things. So this was for you children. This was for you children. Now there is something else. For example, awareness for the fertile couples and the youth of marriageable age. That is, what are the awareness given to them? That is, there is birth control options. Okay, you should not be just giving birth. Make sure you're controlling the births. Okay, and then care during and after pregnancy. It's not just about pregnancy. You should take proper care of yourselves and also the baby after pregnancy. Otherwise, what will happen? We do not want that, no? And then importance of breastfeeding. Why? What is the importance? The first milk which is there, homework number, oh my god. So this is homework question. a new homework question which I have not included elsewhere. So over here, why is breastfeeding important? What is the first milk which is there? Can anyone tell me in the comment section below? So that is there, importance of breastfeeding. And then postnatal care. What do you mean by postnatal? Once the baby is born, how you have to care the baby such that the mother and the child both are really doing good. And also promoting gender equality. So do you see gender equality at your home? Well, if not, then you should be what? Advocates of it. Okay, the female and the male, they are equal. You should be advertising that, because my dear children, we might be not equal in all the senses, okay, because of our physicalities and stuff like that, but we are all human beings, right? So as in that way I'm telling you, okay, so there are people who kill the female child and things like that. We should not be doing that. So promoting gender equality, all those things are awareness given to what? The fertile couples, the ones who can give birth, and also the youth of marriageable age. Okay, now raise awareness about one more very important thing. Okay, that is impact of uncontrolled population growth. Okay, you want to have kids? Have kids. But then also know about the impact of it. One day, these kids that you are giving birth to might fight with each other for all the limited resources out there. And also about awareness about what? Sexual abuse and sex-related crimes. These are all things which makes what? The society a reproductively healthy society. So this is the one way. Okay, there are three ways how RCH helped in building a good society out there. This is one way, that is spreading awareness and giving education about things. And I hope I'm not a teacher like this. Okay, now going ahead with the second thing, medical facilities and assistance. So first is awareness, then is providing what? Medical facilities. And was ban on amniocentesis also a part of this big plan? That is big plan. India gave the big plan of RCH, right? So ban on amniocentesis, was it a part of this particular plan? The answer is yes. But what exactly is this? And why is the baby scared of amniocentesis? I'm going to talk about it really soon. So over here, what were the medical facilities? What do you mean by that? So strong infrastructure, professional expertise and material support for reproductive health, my dear children. For example, if I stay in a place where there is no proper hospital, where will a person go give birth to? Okay, second thing, if there is a hospital but no good doctor, then professional expertise is not there. Okay, suppose there is a hospital, there is doctor, but materials are not there, then so all of this is very important. That is what? Medical facilities. And apart from that, medical care for pregnancy, for childbirth, for STDs, for infertility, for contraception, for menstrual disorders, and also for abortion. All of it, you should have people to take care of it. Okay, because it's all dealt in a different way. And that is statutory ban on amniocentesis. So because of this ban also, it was very good thing that happened. Why is it a good thing, my dear children? The answer to this question is, first of all, you should understand what exactly is amniocentesis. So over here, when you talk about the baby, you know, the baby is inside the uterus, inside the womb of the mother, and he or she is actually covered by an amniotic sac. What sac? Amniotic sac. And here you would be having fluid, and you call this fluid as amniotic fluid. So what happens is that the cells of the baby, some of it will be shed down in the fluid. And in the cell, my dear children, what do you have? In the cell, if you see, there is nucleus. In the nucleus, you have the chromosomes, all the chromosomes, right? All the chromosomes. And this is very much important for understanding what? For understanding if the child has some genetic disorders, okay, such as hemophilia. Hemophilia is a genetic disorder, or let's leave hemophilia. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder. So all of this could be understood before the baby is even born. Yeah, you get it? So that is the importance of this particular process. But now, people did something else out of it. That is, since anyway it is the chromosome. And here, we can understand one very important thing. That is, if we read, or basically if we go ahead and research about the chromosomes out there, we will get to know if the sex of the child is what? Male or female. Why male or female, my dear children? Males would be having XY chromosomes, females would be having XX chromosome. So ma'am, you would need to go ahead and find that, or is there some other way? So what exactly happens is that, my dear children, in the case of females, since they have two X chromosome, one gets inactivated and it is found in the form of a spot out there which is known as bar body. What do you call this? You call this bar body. It only happens to the extra X chromosome. Since the males do not have it, they do not have an extra X chromosome, which is why they would not have an extra bar body as well. So in them, my dear children, in their nucleus, you would not find the bar body. But in the case of females, you will be finding what? The bar body out there, and you'll get to know that this child is what? A female child. So people, instead of using this method for understanding about genetic disorders, they started using it for understanding the sex of the child, and later started killing the child if it was female. And what do you call it? Female feticide. And what is it good? Is it a good thing? Obviously no, which is why the Indian government thought that we should be banning this particular process, that is amniocentesis. Okay, so this is also under what? Medical facilities and assistant, the second point out there. So it is, why was the ban there? To prevent female feticide. The actual use is what? For the test of the presence of certain genetic disorders, and you have to remember the names of the genetic disorders. One is Down syndrome, the second one is hemophilia, and the third one is sickle cell anemia. Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia. Okay, these are the three genetic disorders which you can easily find out with the help of what? Amniocentesis. Now, apart from this, one more thing, massive child immunization to reduce maternal and infant mortality rates. This was also a key point under medical facilities. That is, it's not just about the childbirth. After the childbirth, you should be giving immunization, the vaccination, all needed for proper life. So all of it is covered under the medical facilities and assistant. And now for better understanding of amniocentesis, how does it actually work? I have a video for you. Let's see the video. Well, this video is from Nucleus Medical Art. If at all you want to watch the complete video, you can go watch Nucleus Medical Art and then amniocentesis. It will be showing up. But over here, I'm going to show you the video. Are we ready? Let's see.
Fully watching the ultrasound monitor to avoid contact with the placenta or the baby. Your doctor.
So over here you have an ultrasound monitor attached, okay, and basically you're going to see where are you going to put down the syringe at, okay. So where is this syringe going to go? Inside the amniotic sac. This is the amniotic sac, and inside it you have the fluid.
Will introduce the thin needle through your abdominal wall into your uterus and into the amniotic sac. He or she will then withdraw a small sample of amniotic fluid, remove the needle, and cover the site with a bandage. Your body will make a
That's all. Okay, that is how it is usually done, but you have to be very cautious while doing it. So this is how amniocentesis is done. If it was done for the good reason, then probably there would not have been a ban on it. But now we have a ban on amniocentesis. So I hope you know that second step of RCH which was done after awareness and education is what? To bring out good medical facilities and assistance. Okay, and how? You saw that. Now the third thing which was being done, do you want to know that? Obviously yes, right? The third thing is what? It's actually put down third as fourth, but it is actually the third thing. That is research and development. Okay, research about what? The pre-existing things, you want to make it better, you did that through awareness, to medical assistance, all of it. But you want to find out new ways in which you can control the population growth. And what did they come up with? What is Saheli, ma'am? So over here you can see Saheli, world's only non-steroidal contraceptive pill. No steroids, no side effects. That is Saheli. So it was given by Central Drug Research Institute. Again, this particular name is also important. CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute, my dear children, is the one who found out Saheli, and you know what is the world's first drug out there or medicine out there which is non-steroidal, which does not have any side effect, and that was a very huge deal for India. Okay, so please remember it. And what is the exact use of it? How do I say, or why do I say that it is non-steroidal? So whenever you want to prevent conception, my dear children, you usually give hormones which are already there in your body. Okay, you give extra doses of it. Why? Because you want to make things, all of them, if everything was normal, you want all of it to be abnormal now. You want the level to go up, level to go down, but not stay in the normal range. And for that, what do? We give hormones from the external source out there. Okay. But here, in the case of Saheli, things are not going to work like that. Over here, we are not giving any hormones out there. But we are going to block a work of a hormone which is known as estrogen. So this particular hormone's work, we are going to make it harder. How? So basically what happens is that, if suppose this is the uterus, the ovary which is there, it releases what? Estrogen. It releases the estrogen, and the estrogen will come and bind over here on the walls of the endometrium. Okay, once it comes and binds on the walls, my dear children, it slowly helps in the formation of the endometrium. It makes the base layer at least. That is how usually things work. But what if this guy, that is Saheli, mess up with this particular process? So Saheli which is there, it is actually Synchroman tablets. Okay, it has a drug like that which actually goes up and binds over here instead of the estrogen. Now when the estrogen comes up and sees that, oh, someone has already taken my seat, I have no seat, I have to go back. So it cannot, what? It cannot maintain the endometrium layer out there. Okay, and if endometrium is not there, my dear children, even if fertilization has taken place, just imagine that the egg and the sperm fused. Okay, egg and the sperm fused, now you have the zygote, and thus zygote transforms into an embryo and comes here to get implanted like this, and later comes to know, I do not have the bed over here, the bed is not made, I'm leaving this house. So basically that is the thing that happens. Okay, that is the thing that happens, and usually I'm telling you, it does not allow fertilization to also happen. So don't think that here low-key abortion or things like that are happening, no way. So ovulation happens, the egg is being made, but what happens is that basically because of this particular tablet, there won't be fertilization taking place. Okay, the whole process of fertilization goes very weak, my dear children. It does not take place at all, and also this is also happening on the other side, which is why, anyway, are they releasing any hormones, estrogen or progesterone, anything like that? No, they are not, which is why we call it what? Non-steroidal thing. Okay, and which is why it does not have any side effects like that. Okay, so this is the third thing that RCH did, that is going ahead with research and development. And for that, it took the help of CDRI, which is what? Central Drug Research Institute. And what did they give us? Saheli, a contraceptive pill with no steroids and no side effects. And you know what? Usually all the pills have to be taken daily, giving a gap of few days, but it usually have to be taken up daily. But in this case of Saheli, please listen to me carefully, very, very important question. It's a once in a week pill. You just need to have it once in a week and everything is sorted. Okay, so 3 good things: non-steroidal, no side effects, and once in a week pill. Okay, that's about Saheli. Now comes the homework time for you guys. So I gave one more homework there, so that will be technically 1 and this will be technically 2. So according to whom reproductive health means total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. What do you see? What do you mean by that? According to which group, my dear children, or which organization do you think reproductive health means total well-being in all aspects of reproduction? May it be care of the baby, may it be the reproduction whole method, okay, or the postnatal care, whatever it is. Okay, so what is that organization who says that reproductive health means you have to be doing it in all those senses? And this is not something that I have taught. This is there in the NCERT. I'll give you a clue. In the first para of the NCERT, you can find the answer. Please do go and open the NCERT and tell me the answer in the comment section. Then I'll get to know that you guys are really, really working hard for it. So this would be your homework number 2. Okay, now going ahead with the question, that is, did anything good happen after doing all this thing? That is, after awareness, after medical assistance, after this, research and development, did anything good actually happen? So yes, the good things happened. That is, there was decline in death rate. Okay, death rate means mortality rate. That means the number of people who are dying, it has decreased. The maternal mortality rate, it decreased, my dear children. Okay, maternal mortality means the number of mothers who were dying during pregnancy and all, it decreased very rapidly. That was a good thing. Infant mortality rate also decreased, my dear children. Again, infants also were getting born. They were not dying, they were getting born. But also one more thing was happening on the other hand. The twist, increase in people in reproductive age group. So that means they were giving birth because of good assistance, medical assistance, for good, all the good things happening out there, my dear children. What was happening? People were reproducing and there were more people in the reproducible group or age group. Okay, that means in future they will reproduce and they will give rise to more children out there. It helped reduce growth rate, but only marginally. Okay, so people utilized all the hospital facilities and everything, but didn't listen to what? The word contraception out there. They didn't go ahead by using Saheli and things like that. They just heard about it, they were really happy, that's all. So my dear children, then what we have to do? Was it a big problem? The answer is yes. Why was it a big problem? Because at the end what will happen? It will lead to scarcity of basic needs out there. And you know, the world population, which was 2 billion in the year 19,000, became 6 billion within 100 years out there. Okay, and then in 2011, my dear children, if you see, it was 7.2 billion. Oh my God. Now you can imagine, all of these human beings, where are they going to stay? Okay, and if you talk about India's population, 1947 independence, 350 million was the population. 2000, it became 1 billion. From million, it became a billion. Okay, and May 2011 census said that it crossed 1.2 billion out there, which was going crazy, my dear children. So please remember the numbers. Numbers are very important. Okay, so world population 1900, it was 2 billion. 2000, it was 6 billion. 2011, it was 7.2 billion. Okay, now here only the independence year is changed. 1947 is there. 350 million were their population. 2000, it became 1 billion. And May 2011, it became 1.2 billion. It crossed that. So is it a big problem? Obviously, yes. So now you have to do something more about it. So all about measures to control population growth by government. This was the second attempt that they had. Okay, RCH was still going on. RCH is still there. Okay, but here more measures were added up this time. And what are those measures? And you have to remember it. It's a question from your PU2. Measures to control population growth by the government. So in that answer, you can write about RCH, but later on, make sure you're writing these points also. So there are 4 major things that was being done. First one is one child norm. Okay, which was adopted by some urban people out there. But was it meant for rural people? No. The people who were living in the rural region, my dear children, they didn't accept this one child norm. Okay, they kept on giving birth, and that is why it was not effective. It was not much effective. But again, some people agreed to it and they just have one kid. Now, one very important thing that was done was legal marriage age was increased. So initially, all the kids you see, this and this is nice, cute kids, let's get them married. So that was not the case now. That is not how things work. Even though I know now you might be feeling that, oh, my crushes, I want to get married and all. But my dear children, wait for some years. Okay. So legal marriage age, it was moved to 18 years for females, 21 years for males. This was being done. Okay, that was very, very good initiative. An incentive was also given. Oh my God, you just are a small family, I'll give you a gift. Please do not increase your family count over there. Okay, so provided to the couples with small families, that is also being done. So these are the 3 things, and apart from that, promotion of small families, saying that hum do, hamare do. Okay, if campaign was being run that if I have 2 kids, if we are 2, then we will also have 2 only. And how was it done, my dear children? The promotions, main thing which was getting promoted was what? Contraceptives. So you might be thinking, in RCS initial program also, we were promoting contraceptive only. No ma'am, we had Saheli and this and that and things like that. Then what else are you talking about? So basically, yes, we did all of that. But now we are going to think of making more contraceptives, and we are going to make sure that we are creating more and more awareness about certain things. So this comes under the 4 things which was additionally did by government, and we are going to see what are the other contraceptives apart from Saheli which was introduced to all people out there. And from now on, your class is going to get more interesting. So all about contraceptives. Listen to me carefully. If you listen to me carefully, you get good marks. Okay. So, like good human beings, are there good contraceptives as well? Are there? Now, how do you know that they are good? So, features of ideal contraceptive, again a PU2 question, very important question out there. First thing, it should be user friendly. That means it should not be like only the educated people can use it. The people who could not get educated because of the bad luck out there, it should not, they cannot use it. It should not be like that, no? It should be user friendly, my dear children. Okay, that means a person out there, that's not exact meaning of it, but what I meant is basically, suppose even if I do not know how to use it, it should be that simple such that any person can easily use it. That's the whole thing. So it should be easy, user friendly. Second thing, it should be easily available. It should not be like I have to go to Dubai to buy something out there. No, it should be available in all the medical shops out there. Then only people can buy it and people can use it. So again, easily available. It should be effective. I bought it, but it was not effective. What's the use of it? Okay, so it should be effective. Fourth thing, it should be reversible. For example, a couple is there, they use some contraceptives. After some point of time, they think that we need a baby. In that case, they should be able to have a baby later on, which is why this thing should be reversible as well. That's when we say it's an ideal contraceptive. Now, the next point is minimal or no side effects. It should not be like I had this particular contraceptive, now I have so many side effects which is not letting me live. Okay, it should not be like, so there will be side effects for sure. Okay, but it should be at least minimal. Now, should not interfere with the sexual drive or the activity. People are having it not for having kids, not for stopping the sexual drive. So that should not be interfered, my dear children. So these are the points that you need to remember. There are 6 of them. Please remember the 6 points as such. I think it's easy for you to remember now. First is user friendly. Everyone should be able to use it properly, okay, without much knowledge about it. Second thing, it should be easily available. Third thing, effective. Fourth thing, reversible. Fifth thing, minimal or no side effects. And last thing, should not interfere with the sexual drive or activity of a human being out there. These are the features of ideal contraceptive. And with that, we begin the first method or the first way of contraception, which is natural method. And what is the exact principle of this method? The principle is to prevent the sperm and the ovum from meeting each other. Okay, that is natural method. What is the advantage of it? There is no medicines needed, no devices, minimal side effects. So if you are asked about which is that method which has minimal side effects, it will be what? Natural method. Because we are not inserting some extra sources out there in our body, no hormones, nothing, my dear children. But the problem with this is that it has high failure rate as well. That's the problem with natural method. And now let's see the 3 natural methods available to us. The first one is periodic abstinence. The names, the names might scare you, but let me tell you, it's not at all scary. It's very interesting. Okay, so periodic abstinence means you're absent in a period. What period? The period where your fertilization rate is really, really high. So basically, you are not having sexual activity during the days when the ovum would be actually waiting for the sperm to come. And what is that period? That is known as ovulatory phase, or the time near the ovulation phase, ovulatory phase. So we all know who studied sexual reproduction, human reproduction with me, that what? My dear children, there is a time where ovulation happens, and that is what? 14th day, 14th day. So you should be very careful around this 14th day which is gonna come. And what is near to the 14th day? Near to the 14th day, we have the 10th day and also the 17th day. So these are the days, my dear children, we should be really careful, because actually ovulation does not happen at the correct date. Sometimes it can go here, sometimes it can go there. So what is the thing? So over here, anyway, ovum can be released, and ovum might be, my dear children, waiting for the sperm. But do we need that? Do we need both of them to meet? No. So what do we need to do? At this particular period of time, my dear children, no sexual activity should be there. You should avoid coitus, that is sexual activity, from day 10 to day 17. This is known as the fertile period or the fertile window. Please remember it. 10 to 17, 10 to 17, 10 to 17. Remember it, very important. Not 10 to 18, not 11 to 16 also. 10 to 17 according to your NCERT. In this period, you should be absent. Okay, avoid having coitus. So that is one thing. Now, second is withdrawal method. You also call this as coitus interruptus. So coitus means sexual activity, and you're interrupting this. How are you going to interrupt this? By withdrawing the penis from the vagina. As simple as that. So male withdraws before ejaculation. Okay, before the ejaculation happens, before the sperms are being moved out, my dear children, the male would be removing the penis from the vagina of the female. Now you only think, obviously it would be having high failure rate because ejaculation can happen so soon. So obviously this has very high failure rate, which is why we say natural method has a disadvantage into it. And this is the second method, which is known as withdrawal or coitus interruptus. Now the third one is lactational amenorrhea. Again, this name scares you off, but it's easy. Lactation means what? Breastfeeding time. Okay, the mother would be very active with the breastfeeding. Okay, amenorrhea means no menstruation. So I hope you know that during lactation, when the mother is breastfeeding, at this point of time, a woman would not be menstruating. There won't be ovulation happening. Why? Why is there is no ovulation? Because in the woman's body, since she is lactating, in her body, a hormone which is known as prolactin will be in very much high amount, and it says the other hormones. Okay, the gonadotropin hormones, my dear children, FSH and LH, to please not secrete. Okay, I am not going to allow you to increase your amount, because if you increase, what will happen? Follicle stimulating hormone will make the follicle mature and then later lead to ovulation and things like that. So this guy keeps it under check, which is why ovulation does not happen, which is why menstruation also does not happen. Okay, and if ovulation is not happening, okay, if ovulation is not happening, my dear children, will the ovum be there waiting? No, there is no ovum. The sperm, even if it comes, my dear children, whom will it meet? It has to just die off. It has to just die off inside the female body. Okay, so please understand that this is known as lactational amenorrhea. And obviously, they can have sexual activity at this point of time, since the ovum will not be there. But there is a problem. And the problem is, it can be only effective up to 6 months. Only up to 6 months. After that, there are chances that the female might get her ovulation back. The problem with this is, sometimes it might not last up to 6 months also. The woman might keep breastfeeding, my dear children, but the thing is, she might, and it does not, over here, first of all, does not mean that a mother could breastfeed the child only for 6 months. It said that active lactation happens during this particular period, which is why ovulation does not happen. But the case is, sometimes this also fails. A woman would be starting menstruation late, in the earlier phase itself, which is why again it has a very high failure rate. So these are the three things which is there. Okay, one is periodic abstinence. You get absent during the fertile period, which is 10 to 17 days. Second is withdrawal method, or coitus interruptus. You are interrupting between the coitus process. And the third one is lactational amenorrhea, where a breastfeeding woman may not be ovulating or menstruating during 6 months, only up to 6 months. So the principle is to prevent sperm and ovum meeting. Are they meeting the principle? Yes, none of them are allowing the ovum and the sperm to meet. But there are high failure rate. Please remember, very important question. Advantage, no medicines. Are we taking any medicines? Is there some external devices that we are using? Are we having some minimal side effects also? Nothing. Okay, because it's all done by our body. So it's all natural. So that is about the natural method, and I hope you will never forget it. Everyone who thinks that you will remember natural method forever, put it down in the comment section that the class is nice, or basically give me a thumbs up. Okay, give a like in the video that is given there. I want to see so many likes up there. I want you to tell me, is the class boring or interesting, my dear children? Okay, I think it's my right to know that. Okay, so I'm trying very, very hard to make all these chapters interesting. So if at all you're not telling to me it's getting boring or interesting, I will never know. Now the second is the barrier method. Okay, and it's pretty famous. And here comes the famous guy out there. That is condom. Again, the principle is what? Principle of this method is to also prevent ovum and the sperm from meeting. And the first one, as I said, is condom. Now everyone thinks that only males can have condom. That's not the case. Even females, my dear children, will have condom. And the female condom looks like this. The male condom looks like this. So here, onto the penis, it's been inserted. Similarly, this particular thing, if you see, there are two rings. There are two rings. And in the case of females, if you see the uterus, my dear children, there is cervix region over here. So over here, you can put this ring out there, and this is the vagina throughout which, my dear children, this plastic would be there. And the penis would be inserted inside this. So this is the use of the female ones. This is the use of the female condoms. Now, it is made up of thin rubber or latex, my dear children, covers the penis in the male and vagina or cervix in the case of female before coitus. Now, one very good thing about condom, and only condom, in every method, this advantage is not there. Okay, and in barrier method you have different methods out there. In barrier also you have different categories, but it is only condom, only and only condom that prevents conception and protects against STIs and AIDS. So it has two major functions. One is it's obviously going to prevent conception from happening because sperm and ovum cannot meet, but apart from that it gives one additional benefit, that is it protects against sexually transmitted infections, or you also call it diseases, and AIDS. Okay, which is also a disease like that. How, my dear children? So how is the sexually transmitted disease caused? Through what? The fluids, the body fluids out there. So over here, since the penis is inserted in this particular plastic thing, do you think from the female body any fluid can mix up over here? No. Same thing over here. From the male body, do you think anything can go into the female body as well? No. Again, there is no mixing of fluids, which is why it is said that it protects against STIs and AIDS as well. But again, there are cases where the condoms are not that good and it just gets stored off. That's very rare to happen, but that's also there. Be cautious. Okay. The popular brand is Nirodh for males. I told the Nirodh thing now in the start of the chapter. Now, the good thing, it is disposable. You can throw it. Self-inserted, user-friendly it is, and it ensures privacy. You do not have to make it insert from someone else. You can do it by yourself. So that is about condom. Please remember this very important point. Very, very important. Okay. That is first method of first thing of barrier method. And the second thing that you see is diaphragm, cervical caps and vaults. And all of it is for the females out there. And how does it exactly work? So again, you see this particular thing. It's like a small bowl. Say it's small bowl. So you have diaphragms, which is little bit bigger. Okay, probably this much. Okay, and then you have cervical cap, little smaller, and vaults also. The function is if you say in common sense, it is almost same itself, but I'll tell you how does it work. So basically this particular thing have to be inserted by the female inside through the vagina. Okay, through the vagina, where does it go? It lands up in the cervix region. Again, I told you, uterus ends up in the cervix region. At this particular thing, you are putting what? A bowl sort of thing, which just stays there. So if if the penis is inserted and the sperms are released, my dear children, will the sperm be able to go inside? No, it will not be able to go inside. So depending on the size, they have different names. Okay, for example, a woman who has given birth, in her case the vagina would be a bit looser, which is why they can probably use a diaphragm. A diaphragm would be covering a bit of the vaginal region and also the cervix because it is big. So you can insert it. A cervical cap will be exactly going up to the cervix region itself and things like that. Okay, same goes with vault. They also have the similar function out there, almost inserted in the same way also. Okay. Now in the net also I tried searching the key difference between vaults and cervical cap, was not able to, which is why I'm not going in depth, but I hope you understood the basic of it and how does it actually work. Okay, why is this? Why have I put all this thing? As I told you, it's not about being shy about things. It's about knowing things, understanding things. It's very, very important in your age group, and not just your age group. You can tell it to your juniors also. Okay, because it is important to have education about all this thing. That's when we have a reproductively healthy society. Yes. So rubber barriers inserted into the female reproductive tract, that is what? Diaphragm, cervical cap and vault. It covers the cervix, preventing from the sperm entry. It is reusable as well. Are condoms reusable, my dear children? No, it is not. But these things are reusable, but you have to heat it up a bit, not too much, and then use it. Okay, so they are reusable as well. Okay, now the third one that comes in is spermicidal creams and jellies and foams. So you not use it alone like that. What do? When you use a condom, probably you put the spermicidal creams around it, or if you're using a diaphragm, you put spermicidal cream. Why? Because it increases the efficiency of the work that it is doing. Okay, it does not want the sperm and the egg to meet. So probably just kill the sperms out there. That is the use of what? Spermicidal creams and jellies and foams. Used along with the barriers to increase what? The contraceptive efficiency. So this is what? The spermicidal jelly. So over here I have taken a wrong picture, but it is not spermicidal anyways. So there would be spermicidal jellies as well. Okay, so in the barrier method, you have three things to remember. One is condoms, and that condom protects against STIs and things like that. Then you have the diaphragms and cervical caps, and then we have the third thing which will be used in combination with them. That is the spermicidal creams, jellies and foams. So, my dear children, again, barrier method all clear? Give me a thumbs up. So you might be saying, ma'am, I already gave you thumbs up. How can you give me more thumbs up? It's okay. You can put down in the comment section that we understood barrier method as well. Now we are going ahead with the next thing, that is intrauterine method. It is not actually intrauterine method. It's wrong, Jasmine. It is intrauterine devices. So it's not like robotic devices or the ones that need battery and all. Please understand that. Devices as in it's a tool that can be used. So intrauterine devices, what do you understand from that? That is, it should be put inside the uterus. That is what you mean by intrauterine devices. So over here, the first one that we have is lipase loop. Okay, lipase loop, as you can see, it has a loop like a structure. What is it? So intrauterine devices, my dear children, are divided into three categories. The first category that we are having is non-medicated IUDs. IUDs as in intrauterine devices. Non-medicated as in they do not have any medicinal property. They are not going to release any hormones or medicines out there. Then just normal thing. But how can a normal thing prevent conception? That is a question that usually people have. So the thing is, when something foreign gets inside our body, our body will be like, what came inside our body? I am gonna kill all of it. So it becomes very much active. The immune system becomes very much active. So over here, the same concept is being used. You insert something that is not harmful, very harmful for your body. Obviously, you have to make sure of that. And that something is lipase loop. You insert it in your body and your body feels that, oh my God, this is something foreign. I have to do something. So when the WBCs and everything acts in the uterus, my dear children, what will be there? There will be slight inflammation out there. Okay, there will be inflammation, and also your immune system is going to be very, very active out there in the uterus region. Such that, suppose a man has what do you call sexual activity out there, the sperms which tries to enter, they will also get killed. Why? Because the WBCs are really, really active out there. And over here, the most common example is lipase loop. Why it is known as lipase loop? It's looked like a loop, right? And I actually went ahead and I thought that why is it shaped like this? Okay, do you know why it's shaped like this? Do you have any idea? Are you thinking right now? Well, the answer to this question is, so the uterus, it looks like this, no? So from here to here, to cover this up like this, because the shape is like this, like an inverted pear, which is why the shape of the lipase loop is also like this, so that it stays there itself at this particular position. So that is the use of the non-medicated IUD, which is lipase loop, my dear children. And first thing first, why is intrauterine devices used? It is best for spacing children. Okay, first of all, understand it's best for spacing children, as in, for example, a couple had a child and then they want it after 5 years. So until 5 years, will they stop having sexual activity? No. Why should they do that? They probably can have this installed in their body, okay, by a doctor. Make sure it's done by a doctor, not by you. You cannot do it. So for this, you have to go to a hospital, take an appointment and put it inside your body. In that way, probably for what all time period, it's actually active up to 3 to 5 years. Okay, it's actually active up to 3 to 5 years. From that time, it will be working. It might depend also. So my dear children, for that particular time, the couple would be really, really safe from having a child. Okay, and then later when you feel that, okay, I need to have a child, you just can remove it. Again, you have to go to the doctor. Now, also understand that in your NCERT, there are only two things which are being said as most widely accepted contraceptives or most widely used contraceptives. One is intrauterine devices and the one you will get to know later on. Please remember this, intrauterine devices are one of the best things people use, okay, and it's best for spacing children as well. So the first type of intrauterine device is non-medicated, where you do not release any medicines or any hormones out there. Okay, you just rely on your body's immune system attacking the foreign things out there. Now, the second one is copper releasing IUDs. That means these intrauterine devices might be releasing copper out there. But why are we doing this to our body? That is a big question. So basically, copper just loves the sperm out there. Okay, they love the sperm. This like toxic love, toxic love. Have you heard of toxic love? That is, for example, if you do not accept my proposal, directly acid. So just like that, they have a toxic love story happening up over here, which is really, really bad, but good for our body. So copper ions are released into the uterus. How? Because these IUDs, which looks like this, my dear children, they have copper wire being installed like this. Okay, and they keep on releasing what? The copper out there. So these ions does what? It reduces the sperm motility, making it difficult for the sperm to swim towards the egg out there. So the sperm is there and it wants to meet the egg, but then the copper loves the sperm. It does not allow it to move towards the egg out there. How does it do that? So it interferes with the sperm's motility. It does not allow the sperm to move really, really fast. And if it's not happening, can it go and fertilize? Obviously no. Okay, and you know what? The egg is there only for active for only 1 day. Okay, only for 1 day the egg would be active. The sperm which gets into our body can remain there for 5 days. Okay, but not the egg. Egg can be only viable for only 24 hours. Now they also alter the sperm's fertilizing capacity, preventing successful fertilization. That's not all. That's not the only torture that they do. That is, first of all, they reduce the sperm motility. Second thing, they reduce the sperm's fertilizing capacity also. What more bad can you do to an organism, a thing out there? So it is sperm which is being tortured in 2 ways: reduce sperm motility, and the second one is what? The sperm's fertilizing capacity is also being greatly reduced. Now the big task that comes is that, Mom, I always remember copper releasing and stuff like that, but I do not remember the name, which is why I have brought this particular image in front of you. So in your NCERT only one thing is given, that is copper T. Okay, the picture of copper T. Why copper T? Now I hope now you understand why, because it looks like a T. That is copper T. Now this T, my dear children, directly fits into the uterus properly, which is why they have this particular shape. Now you have copper 7. Okay, which looks like a 7, Cu7. And then you have multi-load, where there's not just one, so many things out there. So multi-loaded, what do you call? 375. And how do you remember the name 375? So basically, in a year, how many days do we have? We have 360 days. So 10 more days, it is 375. That's not the logic. The logic is, basically, the surface area of the copper being installed over here is 375 millimeter square. I hope I'm correct, mm square. Okay, millimeter square out there. So 375 millimeter square of copper is being there. So you tell me which one will be better, this or this. Ma'am, by looks I think this is better. It does not work like that. Does not work like look. So my dear children, here the amount of copper being installed is more. It is 380 millimeter square. It is 375, here it is 380 millimeter square, which is why this is more active, as in it is more better. Okay, and it stays up to 10 years or so. Okay, so it again might vary, but this is a general number I'm telling you. It can remain for 5 to 10 years up there. It's pretty good if you have a comparison with all of this. This is the first position, this is the second position, and this has the third position. Okay, so it is CuT, copper T, Cu7, and the multi-load 375, which comes under copper releasing IUDs. Okay, I hope you will not forget now. Is this different from what is being taught to you in your school? I hope it is, and I don't think that I have to label it down there. Do I have to? Let me label. So you tell me, what is A, what is B, and what is C over here? Should I give you that homework? No, I just taught you, so it's okay. I know you will remember it. I trust you children out there. And this is multi-load 375. So first one was non-medicated IUDs, second one is copper releasing IUDs, and the third one would be hormone releasing IUDs. Now ma'am, we have a twin over here. It looks like just copper T, right? But the thing is, do we find a copper roll up here? No. Why? Because over here it's not actually releasing any copper. It is going to release some hormones out there. Some hormones out there. And what are those hormones, my dear children? The synthetic form of progesterone. Okay, so basically we have two things that you have to remember. One is progesterone, and the second one is progestogen. So progestogen means it's a binary term. It's like a generic term that is given for progesterone. In this progestogen, you can have synthetic and natural one. The natural one, you call them progesterone. The synthetic one, you can have different names for it. Okay, so one such thing that you have over here is what? Progestin or levonorgestrel. Okay, progestin or levonorgestrel. So these are the things. These are the things which are being released. And what are these? These are synthetic hormones. These are synthetic. It's not natural. They are synthetic hormones. What is the name? Progestin or levonorgestrel. Levonorgestrel. Okay? Levonorgestrel. Now over here, you have a name for the IUDs. One is progestasert and the other one is LNG20. So progestasert will be releasing this is the same synthetic hormone. Similarly, LNG20 will be releasing 20 units of levonorgestrel. I always mess it up. Okay, so that is the name. That is the name stand for. LNG stands for this particular thing. So 20 units of this. That is why it has LNG20 name out there. Now, how does it actually work? Let me tell you that. So in normal body, you know, if when estrogen is there, I hope you know that, when estrogen is there, it is like, what do you call, it creates the base for the endometrium. It creates the base for the endometrium, estrogen. Later on, progesterone comes up and builds up on this particular base. That is how things are being done. Now, in this case, my dear children, we are just giving progesterone. We are just giving synthetic progesterone. And what happens with progesterone? Progesterone actually hates, okay, or we should not be calling it progesterone because progesterone is for what? Natural hormones. The other progestogen out there, I think I'm confusing you guys. Wait. I'll use the term progestogen. This is the generic term given to what? To progesterone, which is natural, and all other synthetic form of it. So this is a generic term that I can use. So I am giving progestogen in the body, my dear children, and what is actually happening is that this guy, or basically the same thing, they hate FSH and LH. They do not allow the FSH and LH to grow up. Now, if it is not going up, what happens, my dear children? Ovulation is not going to happen because FSH and LH are the ones responsible for what? Ovulation. So over here, one thing is for sure. Since the level of this particular thing is high, the synthetic version of this particular thing is high, what happens? It hates FSH and LH and it would not allow ovulation to happen. So in this particular case, ovulation is not happening. Is the ovum being produced? The answer is no. The second thing that happens is, over here we are giving extra amount of synthetic progesterone, but the amount of estrogen is less, the amount of estrogen which is less. So obviously the base is not made properly because the other hormone is working very normally, and progesterone is the one that, progestogen is the one that is dominating over here. So what is the problem? The base is not made, which is why even if progestogen tries to make endometrium, it will be very thin and fragile. It will be what? Very thin and fragile. Why? Because this guy is trying to dominate over the other guy. The other guy is just normally releasing certain things out there. So that is a problem. Okay, so over here, what is happening? There is a thin endometrium being formed. Usually we think that progesterone is the one that makes up the endometrium. That happens when progesterone and estrogen is at a normal level. But here, in this case, you are making this particular hormone to dominate over estrogen. In that case, what happens, my dear children? The level of what you call the endometrium which is being formed, it will be very thin and fragile. And not just that, ovulation is prevented, this is being done, and apart from that, you know, this particular region that is known as cervix, over here a cervical plug is being made. A cervical plug is being made. What is it made up of? It is made up of mucus out there, such that the sperm cannot enter. So there are three problems being caused by the hormone releasing IUDs. Obviously good for the body. It is obviously good for the body. Why? Because you do not want the sperm and the egg to meet. That's why. So please remember, hormone releasing IUDs, always, whenever you see the term hormones, okay, whenever you see that something is releasing hormones, that hormone will be definitely synthetic hormone, that is of progesterone, okay, which is known as progestin or levonorgestrel. Either way, my dear children, all of it will be inhibiting ovulation, all of it will lead to thin endometrium, and all of it will make cervical plug out there. So that things happens over here. So it releases hormones, progestin and levonorgestrel into the uterus. These hormones thicken the cervical mucus, making it difficult for the sperm to enter the uterus. They thin the uterine lining, endometrium, making it unsuitable for what? Implantation. So implantation does not happen. In some cases, they may also inhibit what? Ovulation as well. Okay, and I told you how, because you are inhibiting FSH and LH. That is how you inhibit ovulation. So these three things, please remember it, very, very important. And that is how we sum what the intrauterine devices. One is non-medicated. The example is lipase loop, which relies on immune systems working. The next one is copper releasing IOD, CUT, CU7, multi-load 375. And the third one, which I think a little bit confusion is still there, but I'm so sorry, I'll solve it up. Okay. That is Progesta Cert and LNG20. Both of them will be releasing synthetic forms of progestogen. Okay, synthetic forms of progestogen, which will be altering these three things out there. Cool, that is about intrauterine devices. Remember, it's one of the most widely accepted methods and it's best for spacing children. You will be asked this question, what is the one that is best for spacing children? You should be knowing the answer. Now going ahead with the oral contraceptive pills out there. Again, the same thing would be happening, because this also contains what? Progestogens or progestogen estrogen combination out there, synthetic hormones you are giving again. Okay, and in this case, my dear children, as I told you, the level of progestogen which is given will be obviously more than estrogen. So estrogen is steady and slow, which is why it will just make a normal base, not a good base in the endometrium lining. And progestogen, when it dominates, my dear children, what will happen? It will try to make endometrium, but no. Since the base itself is very thin, it will be having a thin endometrium out there. I hope now things are easy for you. Now here you are giving both. Still the thing is happening. Why? Because you are giving less amount of estrogen, more amount of progestogen, which is why. And if you are giving less amount of estrogen, my dear children, the base will be very, what do you call, shaky. In that case, my dear children, obviously this would be fragile. Okay, so implantation is not gonna happen. Implantation, that is embryo coming and burying itself into the endometrium, that is not gonna happen. And also, as I told you, since progestogen is dominating, it will not allow LH and FSH to be there, which is why ovulation is also prevented. Okay, please remember that. And it also alters the cervical mucus, exactly like as I told you for hormone releasing IUDs. So it is also effective and widely accepted with minimal side effects. That is oral contraceptive pills. It is also second thing that I was talking about, which is widely accepted, is this particular thing. Now you have to remember one thing, that is you have to take these pills on a daily basis. For example, if there's a 28-day cycle, for 21 days you keep on having it, then you stop it. Why? You stop it such that, my dear children, the level of hormones still becomes normal, and slowly, my dear children, what happens? The endometrium, the fragile endometrium which is there, it will shed down. Since anyway it was fragile and now no one is there to even maintain it for a little bit also, that is why it will slowly move down of our body. So why is it usually done? Is there a need for it? It is actually made in this way so that the women also feel stress-free, also feels normal that yes, menstruation is happening. But we cannot actually count it as menstruation because anyway ovulation is not happening over here. Okay, in this particular case. So it is taken daily for 21 days starting within the first 5 days of the cycle. Okay, from the first 5 days of the cycle you start having it, then there will be a 7-day gap, menstruation would be occurring and the cycle would be repeating again. Now, as I told you, these are all what? Hormone releasing things or steroidal. These hormones that you see, progestogen, estrogen, they are all steroids. They obviously, even though you say that they have minimal side effects, it's not like that. They definitely have side effects. Okay, but they have mentioned minimal side effects, so let's just believe it. Okay, let's just believe that they have minimal side effects. But anyway, you have something else, that is Saheli, which is a non-steroidal pill. You can probably use this because it is a once in a week pill. It has fewer side effects and it is highly effective as well in comparison. So why not just use this? Okay, now I know there might be so many confusions around in your head. If at all you have any doubts around these topics, do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section. But as I always say, please try to be respectful, because this is a topic that is, what do you call, can get dirty at times. So make sure you're not doing that. Okay, now the next one we have is implants. So apart from oral contraceptives, what do we have? Now implants. What does implants mean? So over here, these are things like this. Okay, and what do? You put it inside the body. You do not do it, doctor does it. Under your skin, you would be putting it. And what do? They also release progestogen alone, or it can be with estrogen also. The same way how it works. It will also inhibit ovulation and implantation, and it also alters the cervical mucus. This is the same thing, but only good thing is that it is longer lasting than the pills out there. Because over here you have a steady supply. In the case of pills, it's not like that. Some days you might not, some days you might eat, you might forget. So over here, it's in your body, and anyways it will be releasing it. Okay, so in this case, will menstruation will be there? Do you think a proper menstruation will be there? Because my dear children, listen, understand one very important thing. Ovulation is not going to happen. Is there a need for menstruation to happen in this case? In that particular, when ovulation happens, that's when menstruation also usually happens, right? But over here, do you think it will be there? Tell me your answer in the comment section below. So you have to do a quick research, and if at all you do not get the answer, do let me know. I'll tell you the answer. Okay? Okay. So homework time. What is the function of copper T? Do you know the function of copper T? Now this is easy, no? This is easy. So you can tell the answer. It checks mutation, it suppresses sperm motility, it stops the sperm entry, or it prevents ovulation. What is the function of copper T? So it will be question number 3 if you talk in general sense. Okay? Question number 3 for you to answer, and if at all you get the answer for this, you can just put additionally implants or things like that. You can just tell me in the comment section, because it's all fun activity to do. This is how you learn better. Okay, now with the last contraceptive method which is there, which is surgical method. Okay, and what exactly happens over here? First thing you need to realize is the principle is, what is the principle? To prevent gamete transport. So if at all you see preventing gamete transport, just understand it is sterilization. What do you mean by gamete transport? Sperm and ovum, they are the gametes, and you do not want to them to get transported also. Forget about meeting, you do not want them to get transported, and if they are not getting transported, do you think they will meet? No. So basically, what is the road for transportation over here in the case of sperm? It is vas deferens. Remember, they take them to a distance, vas deferens, D, distance, right? And in the case of females, it is fallopian tube or oviduct, my dear children. So what are we going to do with the roads? We are going to block it. How are we going to block it? We are going to put something there? No, don't do that, okay? So basically, in the case of men, you call this process as vasectomy. Why? Because you're cutting the vas deferens. In the case of females, you call this process as tubectomy. Why? Because you're cutting the fallopian tube out there. And how do you cut it? It's a very small process, surgical process. It's there. You have to go to the doctor. The doctor will see the precision and things like that. They'll be pulling out the tube. You see, a small incision is made. A small incision is made on the skin, and with a tool, they pull out the vas deferens. So from here, you have the vas deferens going up, right? So from here, you take it out, you cut it, and you tie it up with the surgical tools, and then you put it back out there. That is how vasectomy is done. In the case of females, my dear children, the same thing, you put it out, cut it, and then tie it up there. That is how this is also done. In this case, tell me one very important thing. Do you think ovulation will happen in the case of females? And spermatogenesis, will it happen in the case of males? Will the sperms be formed? The question is that, will the sperms be formed over here? Yes. The sperms are going to be formed, my dear children, but the thing is, they won't be able to get transported. All of it will be dying off, degenerating off, but it will be formed. So please remember, spermatogenesis happens in the case of vasectomy. He would be a normal guy up there. Okay, and if you are asking, what about the sexual activity? Will semen be released? What is exactly semen? What is exactly semen? Semen means, ma'am, sperm plus the fluid which is there for lubrication, the fluid which is there for providing energy to the sperm, that is known as the seminal plasma. So this plus this is what? The semen. So over here, sperm will be missing, but this guy will be still releasing, which is why we say that semen production would still be there, even though it's not exactly semen, but in your NCERT it is given as semen, so let's go with semen itself. Sperm will not be there, okay, but the seminal plasma would be moving out, the whitish liquid will be moving out, okay. So ejaculation does take place, but without sperms. So spermatogenesis happens, but sperm cannot move up there, okay. And always remember, the semen is being produced, but without the sperm, because it did not get transported. Now in the case of females, does ovulation happen? Yes. Egg would be released, but it won't be able to make it through, okay. So egg would be degenerating, but anyway egg would be releasing, menstruation would be happening normally because ovulation happens, so anyway menstruation should also happen, okay. I hope you understand that. So I'll write it somewhere if at all you think you will forget. So in vasectomy, spermatogenesis will happen, semen is still being produced, but without the sperms. Okay, you do not call it semen, but in hindsight it's given, so let's remember it that way only. Okay, now over here in the case of fallopian tube, when it's being cut, ovulation does take place, menstruation also occurs, but anyway baby won't be produced because both of these guys gametes are not being transported. Okay, so vasectomy, vas deferens is cut or tied through a small scrotal incision, and over here small abdominal or vaginal incision is made in the case of tubectomy. Effectiveness, if you are asking, and the limitation, it is highly effective in preventing pregnancy, and the reversibility, if you see, it's very much poor. Okay, you cannot reverse the whole process, so that's why it is said that reversibility is poor. Is it ideal contraceptive in that sense? I don't think so it is, but it is very, very highly effective. So this overshadows the other thing. Is very highly effective. Okay, it won't allow fertilization to happen any single ways. Cool. Now the last thing that we have to study today is about emergency contraceptives. Okay, what do you mean by that? So suppose someone, okay, unfortunately undergoes rape. In that case, my dear children, obviously they do not want fertilization to happen. So what is the first thing that can be done? Give the pills. Pills of what? Progesterone, estrogen combos. Okay, all of these pills can be taken up, or even IUDs. What IUDs? It's not the hormone releasing IUD because it will take some time to work. Rather, copper releasing IUD if it's there. Okay, copper releasing IUD if it's there, my dear children, usually children have doubts that how is IUD going to work. So copper releasing IUD, you know, fertilizing capacity is greatly reduced and also motility is being reduced. So if at all fertilization has not taken place yet, if at all the sperm has not met the ovum out there, then in that case it will be very much protective. If at all it has been taken place, then IUDs are not going to be effective. But progesterone or progesterone estrogen combination, my dear children, that could be very much effective. The thing is, it has to be used within 72 hours of unprotected intercourse. Why 72 hours? Because I told you that in the case of human body, the sperm can stay for 5 days up there. Okay, that is why 72 hours. So used within 72 hours of unprotected intercourse. It has to be done like that, and it would be helping to prevent pregnancy due to rape or casual unprotected sex. So these are the things, please remember it. It will be helpful. Okay, and it is also asked in your PU2 examination also. So progesterone estrogen combos or IUDs. Okay, cool. Now, question with a concept. So, concept is given in your NCERT. I do not want to teach it as such. This is a question. Select the incorrect statement about the contraceptives. They are regular requirements for maintenance of reproductive health. Is it? Yes. They are regular requirements for maintenance of reproductive health. What do you think so? The next question. They have a significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of population. Yes. They have a good role in that. They are practiced against a natural reproductive event like conception or pregnancy. Yes, it is going against something, right? Naturally, conception should be happening, but it's not happening. The possible ill effects like nausea, abdominal pain, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer should not be totally ignored. What about it? What's incorrect about this particular thing? What's incorrect about this particular thing? That there are possible ill effects like nausea, abdominal pain, is that the wrong statement? That it can also cause breast cancer? No, it's not a wrong statement. It's actually correct. What is incorrect is this particular thing. They are regular requirements for maintenance of reproductive health. No, it's not a regular requirements. If you and me do not want to take it, you do not have to take it. We are actually very much normal. Only if we want to prevent not have baby, that's when we read it, right? So this is a wrong statement. But the thing that I was trying to show you is that we usually think this is a wrong statement. We have a confusion with this also. And please remember, these are the side effects given in your NCERT about the contraceptive methods out there. What are those? Nausea, abdominal pain. Nausea means you have a sense of vomiting. Abdominal pain, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer. It can happen. Okay, so please do not ignore all these things as well. Now with this, we have completed all, all the methods up there. Birth control methods, natural or traditional methods, barrier methods, intrauterine methods, oral contraceptive methods, implants, or even injection. You can give injections of progesterone estrogen combination, and the surgical method, and we spoke about the emergency contraceptive as well. Also about amniocentesis, if you remember, right? And now it's time for solving some questions out there. Okay, the first question is, given below are 4 methods and their modes of action in achieving contraception. Select their correct matching from the 4 options. So the pill, what does it do? So always I say, whenever you're solving match the following, you read all the options first. The pill, the condom, vasectomy and copper T. You're very sure about vasectomy. What is it? It prevents the gamete transport. So what option do I have? Here. 4th one. Vasectomy goes with 4. Over here C with 4. What all options do I have? I just have one option, that is this. And with that I get the answer also. But let's see other things. So A goes with 3. The pill prevents ovulation. Yes. Why? Because progestogen is there. It does not allow FSH and LH to be active. So your answer 1A goes with 3. B, condom. B goes with 1. Prevents conception. Yes. Does not allow conception, baby formation to a female to get conceived, right? So that is there. Now D, copper T. Reduces the fertilizing capacity of the gamete. Yes. That is the sperm. So you actually think of this, okay, that is condom and gamete transport, but that's not the case. Gamete transport is for vasectomy. That is why I told you, please read out the options. So your answer for this question would be what? C, my dear children. Next question. CDRI stands for? CDRI stands for Contraceptive Drug Research Institute, Central Drug Research Institute, Central District Research Institute, Central Dermatologic Research Institute. So your answer would be Central Drug Research Institute. And what did they give? They gave Saheli. Now 3rd one, pills have to be taken daily for a period of 8 days, starting preferably within the first 5 days of menstrual cycle. From the first 5 days of menstrual cycle, my dear children, you should be having it. Okay, and after a gap of B days, it has to be repeated in the same pattern. So how many days gap do we take? 7 days, and with that we can get the answer. So over here B is 7, only one option. So 21 days you have it, for 7 days you have a gap. Okay, so that is how the pills are going to work. Now the 4th homework question that I have for you is this. All the homeworks question will be discussed in the next session. Okay, do not be worried. I just want to see who all are very active over here. So use of which of the following contraceptive device has increased in recent years due to its additional benefit of protecting the user from contracting STI, sexually transmitted diseases, and AIDS. So first one is coitus interruptus, B is IUDs, the C is condoms, and the D is vasectomy. Which one do you think is a contraceptive method and also prevents from contracting STIs and AIDS? So I hope you get the answer for that, and please do let me know. How did you find the session? Was it useful? Did you find something extra than how it is regularly being taught in your school? And do let me know about everything. If at all you have any doubt, my dear children, I am here to help you. And please don't think that you won't be able to make it, or if at all you get demotivated at times. Please remind yourself that there is nothing in the world that you cannot do. Okay, you can absolutely do everything out there. I totally trust you with that. So keep on working hard with consistency. I'll see you there, okay, in the next session. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel and also give a like out there. Bye bye. Take care.